as you already mentioned, I'm from engineering background. I completed my engineering in 2018 from computer science background. And since then, I'm working in IT field, currently in Wipro as a senior software engineer and in testing
Great.
domain. And also, I come from a kind of small town. So there, I
Right.
studied till my intermediate in Hindi medium. So uh, my
Oh,
verbal was a bit extra weak compared to others, and
okay.
so that's why I struggled a lot in verbal section. And so in the GMAT harder essay questions, you will see that many questions have are grammatically correct, but
Right.
we have to check what conveys the correct meaning. So
Right.
that process was totally not there in my first attempt.
If you could go in the past and give your past self an advice on the GMAT journey, what would it be?
By e-GMAT question.
Hello, everyone, and welcome once again to another success interview. This time, I have with me one of the finest students that I have had. His name is Prakhar. Prakhar's journey has been a long one. He's come a very long way. If you get to know about his improvement, he started with a 630 and ended up with a 730. His quant score remained almost the same because he comes from an engineering background, but his verbal score had a massive jump from a V26 to a massive V40. Prakhar has come a long way. I have been a part of his journey and I've seen him from close quarters. And if I have to describe Prakhar in one word, that would be diligent. If I have to give one more word, it would be honest, right? Prakhar, welcome to this interview and thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for doing this because you have no idea your interview is going to help millions and millions of GMAT beginners out there who are looking for some inspiration, and your journey is certainly one inspiration. So thank you so
Thank
much
you,
for doing
bro.
this.
Thank you.
How does it feel to be here?
It feels good and relieving after a long journey. Yeah, it's look better now
Right.
that I'm done with one part of my process.
Absolutely. One big hurdle crossed.
Yeah.
In terms of time and months, how long was his journey, Prakhar?
Okay. So it was not a serious uh, uh, journey entirely. It was in phases. I was
Right.
active for a few months, then I was, due to some work and personal commitments, I was not very active. Then again,
Yes.
I became active. So it was, so I gave my first GMAT exam in 2020 February,
Right.
and then it was off and on, off and on. Then seriously, I started in 2023, and
Right.
then yeah, we came in contact.
Right. In 2023 also it was kind of on and off. But then I
Yeah,
think in the last 1.5 or 2 months, I think, after your second attempt, that is when
yeah.
things came into full force, and that's when you actually pushed really hard. All right. So we'll dive into your entire journey from a 630 in the first attempt to a 680 in the second one to a 730 in the third one. These are three different journeys. We'll understand all of those in detail as we go ahead in this interview. But before we begin, Prakhar, just help our viewers with a bit about your background, about your academic background, your professional background. What do you do? And whatever you believe is relevant and you are willing to share, just go ahead and
Okay.
share it with us.
So as you already mentioned, I'm from engineering background. I completed my engineering in 2018 from computer science background. And since then, I'm working in IT field, currently in Wipro as a senior software engineer and in
Right.
testing domain. So as it is, I think, same for many of Indian applicants that they have good quant but weak verbal. So, and also I come from a kind of small town. So there I
Right.
studied till my intermediate in Hindi medium. So uh,
Oh,
my verbal was a bit extra weak compared to others. And
okay.
so that's why I struggled a lot in verbal section.
So for how many years were you studying in the Hindi vernacular medium?
Till 12th in the engineering, I started. then then the medium was English.
Wow, Prakhar, that's almost half your life
Yeah.
studying all the concepts in one language and then building the base to learn another one and then coming from a V26 to a V40. That is amazing. Super journey this has been. I think the beauty of this journey has been enhanced now that you shared this with all of us. All right. That's wonderful. So for all the viewers who who don't come from India, so in India we have different languages. Hindi is one of our uh, most spoken languages in India. It's kind of a regional language, and Prakhar has finished almost, I would say, 13 to 14 years of his education, studying everything, right from geography, history, science, mathematics in that particular language. So it was obvious that his English language was going to be slightly weaker. So that's the background he's come from. So a V40 now makes a lot more sense.
Mm.
All right. Thanks for sharing your background. So Prakhar, your first GMAT attempt of 630 was kind of a self-study.
Yes.
Please help us understand before we get into it as to why do you believe that it that it was important to take the GMAT first and then go for an MBA? Why do you think was this necessary for a career?
Okay. So in the starting of my career, I had this in my mind from the starting that I have to go in the management uh, sometime later in my journey.
Right,
And GMAT is a exam where the score is valid for 5 years. So I thought that in the beginning initial phase as well, I can prepare for my GMAT, and then
right,
later on, after gaining some experience, then I can apply for college and move on for my MBA. So,
right.
by thinking the same, I started preparing for it. I bought the OG, and a friend of mine was doing a course from offline coaching named Jamboree. So I
Okay,
had material from him. They had some question banks, so I took it from him and tried to solve. Yeah, then I
right,
thought that I have gained some knowledge. So the concepts were a quant was easier for me, but for verbal, though I learned few tricks, but
right,
I did not have that knowledge in depth of many concepts which are required to excel in quant in verbal.
right,
Yeah, so it was like very shallow knowledge with what I had at
right.
that point.
So didn't you realize that you needed to go a long way before you took the GMAT? Because your first GMAT attempt was a 630. This is pre e-GMAT. So
Yes.
didn't something during the prep tell you that you shouldn't go for this test right now because you're not prepared? Or what was the reason for still going ahead?
Mm, maybe I took some mocks, and there somehow I scored good around 700 and 720. So maybe I didn't get the clear perception or
Hmm,
clear picture. So that's why I was in a false impression that it is going to be easy and I'm going to make it. And
right,
then after I gave the exam, I got the real picture.
right, right. So now that you scored a 630, it was a Q49 and a V26, right?
Yes.
That's where you started. Uh, so now I'm sure after you scored what you did, there would have been some realization of what went wrong and what was needed. And that is when you would have started to look for some test prep companies that would suit your needs.
Yes.
Help me understand about that phase where you were performing your own research on which test prep company would suit you the most and what brought you to e-GMAT after that, finally.
Okay. So while doing the preparation, when you are searching for some questions, you will get YouTube recommendations for the solutions of many questions. So I
Right,
think I came across e-GMAT solution for a question in verbal, and there they break down the question in terms of meaning and other things which were alien to me at that time. I was thinking that okay,
right,
why I need to understand what the what the sentence is saying if I have to only
right,
figure out the grammatical mistakes. So
right.
that at that point I realized, okay, no, it is not only grammar, but it is also meaning, and
Meaning.
very small concepts which I was unaware of, they were talking about. So I thought that, yeah, this. So I thought that this test prep company is maybe more suitable for my journey.
Right, right. And then you once again started preparing on your own. Uh, and this time I'm sure that you had more structure. Although I'm not sure whether you were aware of uh, the mentor's presence in the journey, because you got in touch with us only in the later stages of your second GMAT attempt. Were you not aware about the mentor availability?
Yeah, no, I was not aware of that. It came very
Okay.
late to me. I think a pop-up came on my screen, that website, e-GMAT website, that if you need any help, you can contact this. This. Then I came to know that, oh, there is some plan like that.
Mhm.
Then we get in touch.
Right. But I think the course for you was in it really self-sufficient, because I remember we got in touch really late. Uh, I mean, just a week before your 680 attempt,
Yes.
and you were already scoring, I think, around 710 on the mocks by then, right?
Yeah, it was
Uh,
710, 720, also
yes,
750, a
there
bit.
was a 750 as
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
right? All right, so let's just get into your journey from a 630 to a 680, right?
Okay.
Uh, So I remember that you went through the course very diligently. You went through the foundation course, master comprehension. Was the SC meaning-based approach a complete unlearning and then learning, or were you already a little bit well versed with the meaning approach, so it was a little easier? How was it? How was the SC journey?
Okay. So my approach has always been to know something from scratch and then then first have the solid foundation, then put other blocks over it. So,
Right,
and in e-GMAT, those master comprehension modules, then then first we learn these master comprehension modules. Then we have these normal subject, verb, adverb, and these basic nuances of verbal. Then after
right,
that, we start the main uh, concepts like modifiers and other idioms and other concept parallelism. So
right,
it is like uh, a good way. I mean, I would say you start from the beginning. There is no gap when you reach. Oh, now I am at parallelism, but these things are. I'm not aware of these basic things. So this is not the
right,
case with e-GMAT course. So you will start from the beginning, then you will build upon a skill over your basic skills.
right, right. So before you learned the meaning-based approach, what was the approach that you were following that led to a 630?
Okay, so I think I just learned few concepts. Okay, so that touch-based rule for relative pronoun modifiers, that if it is touching whatever uh, noun it is touching, it would modify that. So, and very what I would say, even I do not remember properly, but if I will look back, it was very unstructured approach. Sometimes I was just thinking, oh, this sounds right, so this should be good.
Right. Okay, so you were going with that particular method, what sounds right to your ears. Right,
Not for all the questions, but for some questions, yes, definitely.
right,
And meaning
right,
was totally not there. I was just checking grammatical mistakes. And so in the GMAT harder essay questions, you will see that many questions have are grammatically correct, but
right,
we have to check what conveys the correct meaning. So
right,
that process was totally not there in my first attempt.
right. Okay, right. So how did CR go? Because were you as weak in CR since the
Uh,
beginning, or CR was better than SC?
I
How was
think
it?
CR was my strong point. unless
Why do you say
the
so?
because the stretchable thinking was good for me. But one problem I had that in GMAT, if you go for harder 700 level question, so they will throw answer choices which are very similar, like very close in terms of you will think, oh, this can be also be answer. The second can also be correct answer. Third can
Right.
also be correct answer. So the test makers will confuse you. So if you are going to the answer choices without having your own pre-thinking in mind, you will whatever the first choice you will see, which sounds familiar, you think, oh, this
You
is the
go with it.
correct
Yeah.
choice. But if you have
Right.
pre-thinking in your mind, then it is bit clear that what you are looking for, and then when you are going through these similar choices, you know which one is actually correct. So
True.
so this process was not there, this pre-thinking part was not there when I was preparing earlier. So though I was able to figure out correct answers, but it was taking more time, and sometimes in tricky questions where answer choices are bit tricky and bit similar,
Right.
I was making mistakes.
Right. Was it difficult to master the pre-thinking approach initially?
No, it was very easy. It's just it never came to my mind that I should pre-think first, then look at answer choices. So
Right.
you have to learn it like that. What approach you should follow.
Right. Right. Was there any other trick that you would use to get to the right answer in CR, or it was just pre-thinking?
I think pre-thinking is the must. Rest, rest few concepts are there. Like for quant, you have to understand that if sales is if uh, cost is going down, so it can also, or you can say, if profit is increasing, so it could be due to two factors: either the selling price is increasing or the
Increasing.
cost is decreasing. So
Hmm.
these few concepts you'll have to learn, but these are basic concepts. So I think e-GMAT
Right.
course covers it very well.
Right. Right. Uh, so now comes RC, which I believe is an important section to discuss because you just mentioned that you come from a vernacular background till the 12th grade. Uh, so were you always an avid reader? Would you read English books, English novels, or English news and articles? How was
No,
it?
totally not. I was very bad at reading, though I used to read, but when I came to solve these RC passages, the time I was taking to read the passage was a bit longer than usually people take. So
Right,
for me, okay, I was able to comprehend, but for a passage of ideally we should take around 5 minutes, 4 minutes to read in exam environment. I was taking
right,
around 10 minutes for that. So overall, if I was rushing, I was making mistakes in the
right.
answer choices. Yeah.
How did you get this time to come down?
Okay, so first thing for RC, no matter how many concepts you learn, you'll have to practice.
Right,
So in SC, you can understand the concepts, then you can apply it, though it also requires practice. But RC, you have concepts. First of all, that master comprehension helped me a lot, because here I learned to break down the sentence into
right,
smaller segments and comprehend each segment one by one. So it is not that I
right,
am reading entire sentence and trying to comprehend it. It will always take time. And in harder RC questions in GMAT, the sentence will not that easy that you can read entire sentence in a go and then you can comprehend it. You'll
right,
have to break it down in smaller segments. Then only you will understand it properly and in time. So that thing all definitely helped me, this master comprehension part. Rest, I think it requires a lot of practice. At least for me, it required.
right, right. Okay. So I remember that by the time we came in touch with each other, you had already taken the mocks, right?
Yes.
And I think you did not go through the entire quant section in the first go.
Uh, Course wise, you're saying?
Yes, the course
No, I had completed.
you had, right? Okay. So I remember when I was going through your mock attempts, I realized that there is a bit of inconsistency because when your score differs from a 710 to a 750, there is some inconsistency which can come back to haunt you.
Yes.
But then during your second attempt also, we did not have much time. But I still believe that you would at least score a 700, if not more. What do you think went wrong on that very day, Prakhar? You scored a 680, which was 20 to 30 points lower than what you were scoring in the mocks. How did it feel?
Okay, yeah, at least I was hoping 700 plus, if not more. Um, Two things. First thing, uh, my struggle with managing my time in verbal section. So I used to struggle a lot in that, and when I downloaded the ESR, it showed the same that in the first three blocks, my accuracy was quite good, but in the
Right.
last block, I had very little time, so I just guessed most of the questions, and my accuracy took a dip, and the score went down.
Right. And this was something that we could see in your mock attempts also,
Yes,
uh, inconsistency with time management. Right. Uh, so when you saw that 680, how did you go back home? Because I think you had to travel from your hometown to
yeah.
the main city. Uh, there was a lot of effort that had gone in. And how did it feel when you saw that there was just 680? How did you digest it? How did you recover from it and thought that, okay, let's give it another shot this time?
Okay. First thing, obviously, if you are working hard for something and if you do not get that desired outcome, it is always heartbreaking. So yeah,
Yeah,
it was. And then at that time, I had also an offer from IIM Amritsar and Kashi for executive MBA programs. So I was thinking, okay, I'm not able to score despite working hard, then I should leave it and continue with that. Though I was not willing to, but I was thinking, okay, I should go with that only. Then you helped me a lot in that phase. I have to thank you for that. So thank you, Dhruv. That
it's
you
fine.
motivated me that your ability is not of 680. You can score
Right.
higher. It's just few things that went wrong, and we can work on them with some smaller time. Then, and
Right.
also, I took a break for 2, 3 days, and then thought that yeah, I should give a attempt.
I remember, I think there was some deadline to uh, pay
Yeah,
the fee or something like that, right?
yeah. I think in IIM Kashipur there was a deadline, so that's why I did not extend my GMAT second attempt date. Yeah,
Right.
you asked me that there are some inconsistencies and you should have at least 15 days more before you give your exam. But if I had extended that, then I would have missed that deadline. So in order to get my score before that deadline, I needed to give that
So that you
exam
could
on
then
that.
decide what to do next.
Yeah, then I can decide.
Right, right, right. But you ended up with the right decision.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think we
now
can say
this
now.
journey goes on from a 680 to a 730. Although I think you took a bit of break in between, there was a lot of workload that came your way, so there was a bit of inconsistency there. But I think as I said, the last 4 to 6 weeks is where you actually accelerated and you were constantly in touch with me. And what I loved about your this part of the journey was that despite knowing that you were already at a 710, 720 level, this time the approach that we took was that we would just focus on those specific topics that trouble you. We refer to the data analytics part on the portal, and you were always willing to take each and every step. I must say to all the people watching this that Prakhar was always diligent in taking each and every step. He never ever went ahead of himself, nor did he you know, take a few lesser steps than what I recommended. He was just following what I was suggesting with full faith, and he just kept on doing what he was supposed to do. But this time, I think he had exhausted all the mocks, hadn't we?
Yeah, I had,
Or we had one.
yeah, we had one only. One Sigma X, we have five marks. So I had exhausted four in my second attempt. So I had only one
Right.
full length mark. Yeah, mark, yeah.
Do you remember the scores on the OG mocks?
OG mocks.
Right.
Uh,
Which
before
other mocks did
my
you take? Sigma X mock and other mocks were from which company?
OG only.
OG only, right? So
And
what scores did you get there?
I think it was seven before my second attempt, 680 attempt. Mock one was 750 and mock two was 720. Official
And
mock.
in this attempt, the last attempt,
In last attempt, so I purchased these mocks, additional mocks 3, 4, and 5, 6. I think I scored 750 in two, 720 in one, and one I think some interruption came in between, so I could not complete that one.
right? Okay.
No, one 760, one 750, and one 720.
So 760, 750, right? And then what was your score on the last Sigmax mock?
Yeah, it was 710, I believe. Yeah.
Right. And we always uh, claim that our Sigmax mock scores are usually within a 10 to 20 point range from whatever you score on the real test. Maybe
Yeah.
10, 20 points over or below. You were lucky to be on the higher side this time, 730. Right. So your final score was a Q40 and a Q49. If you ask me, Prakhar, I believe that you could have still scored a Q51 because you were doing really well on the cementing quizzes and on the mocks. What do you think went wrong?
In quant
So
section.
Q49 is good,
Yeah.
but considering your level and ability, it could have been a Q50 or a Q51. What
Yeah,
do you
I
think
also was
stopped you?
hoping Q50. Um, Maybe I can say one thing where I faulted could be that usually when I solve easy questions, I tend to make a lot of silly mistakes because when you are solving a hard question, you are very much involved in that, so you remember each and everything. But in when you see a easy question, oh, this is very easy, and you miss very small details. For
Yeah, you
example,
were
you can
excited.
say there, yeah, there's a question where it asks how many digits are between 1 and 10. So how many numbers? So, but it has not been given this. All these numbers are integers. So these could be decimals as well. But when I when I see this
Right.
question, what I will do in general mind? Oh, the 1 to 10, 9, 9 in between.
Nine in between.
So nowhere it is mentioned that these are integers only. But I think these kind of small mistakes, maybe yeah.
Yeah. But luckily, we were anyway looking for a 720 plus kind of a score, and you scored a 730. So,
My target was 740 Q 50 V Q
okay,
50 and V40. So V40
Q50
I
and
made,
V40.
but Q50 I could not.
Hmm. Right, right. Uh, so now that you finally scored a 730, what do you think are the next steps?
Okay, next step is I think I should stop now because I do not want to get too ambitious. And though GMAT score is important, but there are other parts also of application which are
Right,
equally important. So I think I should focus on them now and should prepare for my R2 applications.
right. Out of your entire journey, Prakhar, any learnings that come to your mind right now that you believe that you should and must share with all those GMAT aspirants out there?
Okay, one thing for sentence correction would be meaning based approach. You
Right,
need to understand meaning because 700 level questions will check you on that. You cannot just check grammar and say that, oh, this. this sentence has all the grammatical aspects correct, so this will be
Mm,
correct. No, there
mm,
are meanings involved, and slight change in sentence can change the entire meaning of the sentence. So you have to be aware of that. In CR, I would say pre-thinking is a must because GMAT questions are designed in a way, if you are looking at answer choices directly, it will it will
confuse you.
confuse you, definitely will confuse you. So you need to have a pre-thinking in mind that what exactly you are looking for. Otherwise,
Right,
there is a high probability that you will falter. In RC, first thing is that master comprehension. Reading harder sentences, you cannot just read entire sentence and then you can comprehend say 70-80% of that sentence. You need
right,
to read that in chunks and comprehend each chunk. uh, Also, one more thing is time management. The one chart you shared just a few days before my the third final attempt,
right,
that you need to complete after you complete 10 questions, you should have 49 minutes left. After you
mm,
complete 19 questions, you should have 33 minutes left. After you
right,
complete say what was 28 questions, it was,
right,
yeah, you should have um, 17 minutes left. So
right.
this definitely helped me a lot because it gave me a shorter deadlines, right? That I have to complete these 10 questions in
Yeah,
this much time, next 9 questions in this much time. So at the end, there were not too many questions left, and I had
mm,
ample time to complete my,
right.
yeah.
Basically, this helped you set shorter goals instead
Yes,
of looking at the bigger picture and then panicking, maybe. Right. All
this
right.
definitely helped me a lot.
Right. Right. So, Prakhar, we've come to the end of this journey and also this interview. But before we end this journey and this interview, I just thought let us do something fun. Let us have a little uh, GMAT rapid fire with you, where you'll answer 4 or 5 questions quickly, whatever comes to mind, and then we call it a day. Right?
Yes.
Are you up for it?
Yeah, sure, definitely.
All right. So I'll basically ask you questions. You just think of whatever comes to your mind and you can answer. Try to be as rapid as you can and as fiery as you can.
Okay.
All right. Let us begin. Uh, so the first question is about GMAT travel time machine. If you could travel back in time to study GMAT concepts with any historical figure, living or dead, who would it be, and what would you learn from them?
Swami Vivekanand. Though
Okay.
I don't think he can teach me any concept, but definitely he can teach me focus and determination. One thing he was a true master of,
Right.
and GMAT requires a lot of focus.
Absolutely. Especially when you don't want to make those silly mistakes, when you get excited about those easy questions. Okay, good answer. The next question for you is, imagine your GMAT journey had its own theme song. Which song do you believe is the perfect representation of your entire journey?
Imagine Dragon Believer.
All right. Okay, that's a good song. It's kind of similar to the Hall of Fame song, I believe, if you've heard it,
Yeah.
right? Sitting in the Hall of Fame, kind of motivational, especially when you're working out in the gym. All right, let's go to the next one. This is interesting. If you were to write a GMAT themed book, what would the title be and what would the first chapter be about?
Okay. Interesting. What would the title be? Have to think about it.
No
The
problems, take
first
your time.
chapter can be about the mindset that uh, even if you are not aware of anything, you can learn it with practice and dedication.
Right,
For example, in my case, verbal was very weak for me, and
right,
though with practice I managed a V40 score.
Right.
Title, I think, can also align the same that with hard work, you can learn things which you are weak at.
Nice. We can maybe shorten the title, right?
Yeah,
Ace your goals with hard work,
yeah,
or
this
ace
sounds
your
better.
weaknesses with hard work. No problem. Your book, you can keep whatever name you want. All right. Uh, if you could go in the past and give your past self an advice on the GMAT journey, what would it be?
By e-GMAT course.
Okay, that was quick and that was nice as well. Pretty witty, I would say. All right. And when you go to the last one, this is a little interesting. If GMAT concepts were represented by different types of food, which food item would represent each section of the test? Verbal first.
Mm, maybe coconut harder from inside, but once you open
Yeah.
its shell, it is softer from inside.
Especially for you, right? Because the background that
Yeah.
you came from, it looked like harder from the outside. As you went into it, it was softer, kind of sweeter as well. Good job on that. All right. What does quant represent?
Mango, it is mostly sweet, but it can be sour.
It was a little sour for you
Yeah,
because you got
definitely.
excited. So mangoes are like that. If you're really excited and they can be a little sour, they spoil the taste sometimes. Good job, Prakhar. Good going. IR, integrated reasoning.
So integrated reasoning is basically a mix of both quant and verbal. I would say
Right.
ice cream which has both coconut and mango flavor.
Okay. Nice. Smart answer. And the last one, analytical writing.
Mm, maybe a dessert. By the time you are going to have it, you're too full to eat it.
Right. And in the end, you have to write a lot, think a lot, but you're
Yeah,
almost drained. Okay. What was the higher score, by the way?
higher score 7.
And
Our
AWA?
score I'm already. I have not yet received my official GMAT score.
Okay. All right. So well done on the ice cream, I would say. It would have been fun to know what did you get in the dessert.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, this was fun with you, Prakhar. You seem to be like a very quiet kind of a personality, but you have a bit of humor and a bit of wittiness to you that makes you
Yeah.
a very interesting person, I must say. So, Prakhar, to end this, it was an honor and a pleasure to have known you as a person first and to have been a part of this wonderful journey that is going to inspire thousands and millions out there who watch your video. Uh, it was a pleasure knowing you, to have been come in touch with you, to have been there through the ups and downs, and to then be outside the ground cheering for you and looking at you getting that medal of success. Uh, we've come a long way, Prakhar, and I thank you so much for doing this. So, anything that you would want to say to just cap this entire journey off?
Thank you very much, Dhruv. I think you helped me really a lot. And one thing I would definitely say for all those people who are going to buy e-GMAT course, that there is a last mile program. Don't do it like me that you are unaware of this. Reach out to your support team and they will help you.
Right. All the learnings from Prakhar's journey are here. Thank you so much to everybody who watched this video till the end and enjoyed the rapid fire as well. Uh, we'll keep getting more and more success interviews for all of you out there to keep you motivated and up there. In case you're looking for some motivation, there are a lot of stories like Prakhar's that are on the way, and you will surely learn more about it. Thank you so much for this. Thank you so much, Prakhar. Keep us posted about the next steps once you get an admit from your desired colleges. I would love to know about all of those milestones as well and celebrate with you. Thank you so much once again. Good
Thank
night.
you, Dhruv. Thanks a lot. Good night. Have a good night.
You too.